What is going on, everybody? Voidlego here, back for a brand new episode of Chaos Head Noah. Last time on, we finish up Kazui's route, which was just not at all heart-renderingly horrible, as the school eventually descended into madness as both Takumi rightfully went insane after one of the DQN shows him a picture of Nanami brutally, let's say, assaulted. And so he just goes insane and starts killing people as well with Kazui. And all of this is happening as we cut over to our just favorite guy, Suwa, and his band of other cohorts as they're all making use of Noah by distorting everyone's views on reality within the school as well in order to gain the code samples from both Takayumi and Kazui as well. But as they head outside and they confront Sena tries to convince them to stand down, and Kazupi is convinced, but unfortunately her kind of violent tendencies that she can't control at all starts fighting back against her, and unfortunately Sena gets killed. Then Suwa shows up on the scene and tries to kill both of us with his guns, but thankfully in the end Kazupi is able to murder him, but we're already full of holes as Kazupi and Takayumi lay down in a flower patch, slowly withering away and dying as they look up into the bright blue sky, wishing to become crookedy crackities. And oh boy, was that a tough ending. I think that's my favorite ending so far, because it really got to me. That really hurt me, a lot. But it was great. It was really great, I have to say. It just, just got to me. But I also got a fantastic comment last episode, confirming my suspicion that the Committee of 300 is actually the kind of main antagonist throughout all of the science adventure games. Which, okay, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, if they're kind of the antagonists in Steins Gate and they're also one here, then there's obviously some overarching type of thing here. And they also graciously gave me the chronological order to play these games in as well, which is very helpful, because I am planning on continuing with this series. As I said before I ever started this channel, I really liked Steins Gate a lot. I thought it was very fascinating. I love time travel, and the way it executed it was great. The characters are great, like Okabe and all that. And here, with its first entry with being Chaos Head, it's pretty damn good. Really good. Holy crap, this is amazing type good, So obviously, I'm very curious about the other entries within this series as they delve more into different fields of science, since it's called Science Adventure Series. So, eventually I would like to go through all of these games, and I bet you guys are excited for that as well as me, since you guys really appreciate the series, which I thank you very much for. But that comment also gave me quite a big surprise, as it turns out Chaos Head Love Choo Choo is actually a canonical sequel to this game, which kind of blows my mind. I thought it was just some type of it's a dating spinoff, whatever. I mean, they did the same thing with Steins Gate. They made a kind of dating sim spin-off of that, so I thought it was the same thing with Chaos Head. But is it actually true that Chaos Head Love Choo Choo is actually a canonic sequel to this game? Because if it is, then I'm all for it. If it isn't, then I'm it's not because I don't have anything against a dating sim or anything like that. It's just I love the aspects of this game and shit like that. So I would love to know more about Love Choo Choo without getting into spoilers, obviously, of Is it really a canonical sequel to this game? And if so, I would be absolutely down to play it if it was. It seems like the Committee of Zero, the people that were behind translating, making this Noah patch, are actually in the middle of translating that as well, which is pretty cool. But yeah, if I would love to have more information about that, because I would love to do that, since it's a canonic sequel and it's actually the next order, or the next game in the kind of chronological order the comment gave me as well. So I'm very curious about that. I'm very surprised by that. But yeah, that'd be really cool to play, actually. So, yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe by the time this, like, Let's Play ends, it will be out. Probably not, but maybe I'll take a break until, like, it comes out, and then once it comes out, then I'll play it then. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. That's future stuff. But anyway, let's first of all do our regular thing, go into tips. Snowdrop. The excessively violent design of Kazui's sword represents the very soul of Kazooie, who has no mercy for those who seek to harm her. Kazooie is small and weak, so as a result of her intense desire for the power to protect herself, she materialized a gigantic weapon that was the exact opposite of her physique. Makes sense. In addition to its size, it is specialized for combat. It automatically provides a target based on Kazooie's will, then draws the most efficient trajectory to demolish it. This is why, whenever Kazooie wields a sword, it appears as if the sword is swinging her around. Ah, I see. So it's kind of like... So I guess what Snowdrop... ironic name. What Snowdrop kind of represents is... like, you can't really control it at all. Like, it's kind of like that, it's kind of that aspect of yourself that you can't really suppress, that you can't really take control of, that sometimes it has a will of its own, and there's nothing you can really do about it. Heck, you could say that's a metaphor for mental illness, right? There's simply, you could try to suppress it, you can try to calm it down, but like, if it goes all out, then you can't really stop it. I guess that's what this is kind of representing for Kazooie, that kind of, that will to overpower others because her own self-pitying, you know, self-reflection of herself. Cool. Really sad, but yeah, that makes sense. It just goes on autopilot to Waiwa. Oh, I don't think I ever read this, shit. Oisa's Discord, with its complete and utter absence of straight lines, represents the true embodiment of chaos. When Oisa materialized a sword, she modeled it after a mythical dragon, which is why the sword takes on a far more organic form than the other disc swords. The dragon appears in the severed verses of the Lone Black Knight, a part of the Godor saga in which one of the Black Knights slays a dragon, then forges a sword from its bones. Have I read this before? Maybe, but not really much to it. But alright, cool. And now, folks, we are at the penultimate route, which is Sena's, which makes us start at Chapter 3, so let us head on over. Let's head on over. Good old Chapter 3. Okay. And time to skip, baby. You gotta skip, baby, baby. She'd actually swung. Okay. So I have to go neutral on this choice, which is all cool. Which I guess is going to be right here. If it's right here, that would be real convenient. There we go. Alright, cool. Okay. Cover my head. I hated pain. Yep. Okay, Alright, let's go. Here we go. Please let me ogle you more. Great first question. Oh, this is... All of these are yeses except the last one. So about 4 yeses, then the last one. Gotcha. Please let me ogle you more. Yes. If it's with this girl, I'm willing to get down on my hands and knees and beg with all my heart and soul. Yes. Oh boy. If given the choice, I prefer being stepped on. Yes. I've got nothing against a little sword play, if you know what I mean. You gotta be fucking kidding me. How many yeses have I think that's been 3 yeses. Last yes here. I've got nothing against a little sword blade, if you know what I mean. Yes. She's gonna kill me with that sword either way. No. Soda flavored soda flavored Garaguri-kun? Huh? Okay, well, that was a hell of a list of questions, huh? The next thing I knew, I was trembling. Felt like I was this close to pissing myself out of sheer terror.
何を勘違いしている？私はただ見えるのかと聞いているだけだ。
What the hell was she talking about? Okay. Okay, well, let's see how that goes about, huh? Let's see how this this whole journey will go. I think Sena's an interesting person we haven't really talked to at all, really. I used to really like 3 times, but she's an interesting character. I feel like we know kind of the most about her, at least her backstory, at least why she's here and why she's doing the thing she's doing. So I'm just going neutral on all these since I've pretty much gone like I've done good, I've done bad, I've done pretty much everything by this point. I mean, I've gone through this damn game for like 20 times with this point. It feels like it. But yeah, I'm curious as to how's this gonna play out with Sena, huh? Is it going to be romantic like Elise's, or is it going to be sad? I feel like there's going to be a like a romantic one. I'm just getting that feeling, kind of just getting that gut feeling, you know what I mean. Either way, it's going to be sad. I mean, this game's sad, man. When you fucking think about it, when you have all the answers in front of you and shit like that. So, also, eventually, should I? Maybe I'll do like a post game, like after I beat all of the endings, I'll do like a little quick video being like, oh, let me just showcase the DLC costumes, because I'm kind of curious as to what they are. I kind of don't want to do it like in the middle of all this shit, because I feel like it will break the kind of I don't know, the tension. But you know, I'm just saying. Because I'm very, like, I know, like, I'm pretty sure the DLC costumes are fucking just bikinis and shit like that. Like, good old-fashioned gacha game variations. Characters. Like, Nikkei or fucking Girls Heart Wine. I'm just rambling. Speaking of gacha games, I've been playing a lot of Reverse 1999. Great gacha game if you haven't played it. Like it's really great. Like, I love its story, its characters, and the type of world it takes place in. Like, the whole premise of going a storm, taking over the world, and sending everyone kind of back in time. Like, it happens every so often. Like, you go from 1999 to, like, 1924, and then, like, over to 1965 or some shit like that. It's a cool game. It's a really great gacha. I wish more people talked about it. It really is great. Hell, maybe I should make a video about Reverse 1999 eventually. Like, I don't know, like do a let's play of like its event camp, like chapters or some shit like that. Like that'd be I would be down to do that, but you know, depends if anyone's interested in that. But I'm just spewing bullshit. Here we go. Okay. A solitary train car stood stock still near Shibuya Station. It was a car that was open to the public, with many referring to it as the Green Frog. Aoi Sena sat inside of it, biting her thumbnail. She looked out the window and watched the passers-by with disinterest. She and Nishijou Takayumi had spoken at length yesterday on this very train, and today she had come here once again. She hadn't gone to school. Attendance was the least of her worries. She was constantly driven by feelings of impatience. As a result, she would often get very irritated with others, leading to her fairly harsh behavior towards them.
どこにいる旗の
Hatano. Her voice swelled with hatred, all of it directed towards a single individual. Her father. She dug a hand into her uniform pocket and took out a piece of paper. Oh, it was a small crumpled scrap of paper torn from a memo pad. Written on it was something resembling an algebraic formula. The letters were faded and dull, perhaps due to aging, or perhaps because it had been written in pencil. Only one part remained barely legible, and that was IR-12. Or 2. It was the scribblings of Sena's father from long ago. Needless to say, she did not exactly treat it like a holy artifact. Instead, she simply kept it close so she could always remember the hatred she held for her father. Sena's family was once a happy one. However, the moment her father had scrawled a certain formula onto this piece of paper, slowly, silently, yet certainly, madness began to envelop everything. Ooh. Sena's father had once been a corporate scientist. Sena had been just an elementary school student at the time, and while she did not understand the type of work her father did, she knew he was always busy. He was rarely home. Occasionally he would come home and show his affectionate side, but that almost never lasted even a day. He would be back to work before anyone knew it. It was not that she disliked her father, but she was a little disappointed to find that she could not think of a single time her family had ever sat down for a meal together. Then came a day about 6.5 years ago, where her father returned home from work. Unlike his usual calm and collected self, he had been brimming with excitement.
Sena, 父さんはすごい発見をしたぞ。これはノーベル賞どころの騒ぎじゃない。
何がそんなにすごいの
It is kind of funny. I'm going to guess how each of these games are going to play out is that somebody discovers something. And obviously the committee of like 300 is trying to take it or utilize that type of thing. Like, for example, in Steins Gate with Okabe discovering time travel by accident, right? Or, well, kind of meant to, because, well, that's whole Steins Gate fucking story bullshit. But you know what I mean. Somebody accidentally coming across something that kind of breaks science. You know what I mean? Like, this simple formula changes reality to people. Like, this is what it represents. Like, IR2 is the... What does the formula really stand for? I guess what... Like, function to the power of 10, integer to the power of 40. So I guess it would be like possibilities or something like that. I don't know. I've tried to figure out a damn math formula that's just like whatever. But you know what I mean.
この公式はこれまでの世界の仕組みをも変えるだろう。それほどの大発見なんだ。
As he spoke, he had held a memo pad before Sena's eyes. Written on it was the IR2 equation.
ずっと探していたんだよ。父さんではどうしても思いつけなかった。プロジェクトノアは停滞していた。手詰まりだった。だが、この公式があれば、計画は次の段階に進めるんだ。まさかあんなところで見つけるなんて思いもしなかったよ。これはまさに信仰の救いだね。
Fucking divine wine.
東京駅だ。たまたま通りかかったんだ。本当に偶然だった。セナは東京駅に行ったことはあったかな。やたら広いだろう、あの駅の構内は。その構内の一角にたくさんの作文が展示されていたんだ。文部省の全国なんとか作文コンクールとか、そんな名前の展覧会だったよ。
Seriously?
優秀な子供たちの作文が飾ってあってね。セナは知ってるかい？ もしかして応募したりしたかい？
わかんない。多分知らない。
セナが出ればきっとセナも優秀作品に選ばれていたんじゃないかな。
そんなことないよ。私、作文は苦手。
そうか？もっと自信を持つべきだと思うがな。
ねえ、作文がすごい大発見だったんだ。
いやー、違う違う。そうじゃないんだ。作文なんてどうでもいいんだよ。重要だったのはその裏に書かれていた落書きなんだ。そこに飾られていた作文は透明のプラスチックの額に収められていてね、裏側も見ることができた。
はあ。
それは多分演出とかそういうものじゃない。たまたま透明なだけだったんだろうね。きっと主催者には作文の裏の落書きを見せようなんて気はなかったはずなんだ。だからこの公式を父さんが見る確率はそれこそ天文学的数字だったわけさ。これが奇跡というやつなのかな。
Wow. And here I was thinking, like, okay, of course, like, they set up this, like, essay or whatever the hell, because they already were working at Takayumi at the time. Wait, when did... Okay, I think Takayumi submitted this essay in, like, 2nd grade, if I remember correctly. Then the bus. Wait. Oh, no. Okay. Okay, I think I see the sequence of events here. Fucking... He comes across this essay just by pure coincidence. Just pure coincidence. He's just at Tokyo Station and he just looks to the side and sees this. The formula that solves... That, yeah, kind of solves Noah. The solution to change people's perceptions of reality. He sees that. Then they start, like, looking at this kid. They're, like, obviously, like, a gigantic organization is going to be looking at a random fucking kid that had written a formula for a thing their top scientists couldn't solve at all. So, like, once they were doing that, once the bus accident happens, then I guess by that point, then they start looking into him when he is checked into the hospital. That's why there's black suits everywhere. I always thought it was kind of, they were always nurturing him. I guess they were, in a sense, just at a much later stage than I thought, for Takayumi. But I see. Okay. Wow.
公式っていうことは算数なんだね。
ああ、そうだよ。すごく難しい算数だ。
算数で世界を変えられちゃったりするのかな。
ああ、変えられるよ。父さんの研究はね、世界を変えることなんだ。
ほんと？信じられないな。
いつか証明してあげるよ。見ていてくれ、セナ。
It had been over 6.5 years since that day. Gritting her teeth together, Sena shoved the paper back in her pocket. She gazed through the window, her eyes focused on the dull sky above. Undoubtedly, the world would change soon, just as their father had said. Sena's own world had already undergone many drastic changes. Vileness, havoc, everywhere you looked, you would find more. It had become an unfathomably hideous place.
そんな世界は作らせない。奴を殺して私が止めてやる。
Oh, son of a bitch. Oh shit, the 7th case. Again. It happened again, and then Yujin. Like, the 25th fucking time. Yes. 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 The DQN puzzle. Oh my god, I haven't heard this one yet. Uh-huh.
今日午前4時
I wonder
50
why it
分
always like
東京都
pauses
渋
here.
谷区の線路沿いで警察の調べによ
Because
り
it
ます
just
と
seems
3人
all
とも胴体の部分
same
3人
thing.
の額にはそれぞれ謎の渋谷では2ヶ月ほど前から猟奇殺人事件が頻発しており警察では今回の事件も同一犯による犯行の可能
Maybe
性
the
が高い
reason
とみて
why it
捜査を
stops
続けてい
here
ます
is because it's kind of the case that like drives Takumi into the deep end of like, oh shit, I need to make sure Shogun doesn't get me. Something like that. Yeah.
昨日僕に絡んできた。
Okay. Okay. Yep. 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 Kazuki. Shogun. Yep. Would it be next to die? Yes. Yes. KO you whenever, please. Someone save me. Rear me. So I had to find someone new. The first person that came to mind was...
お前が望むと望まないとに関わらずもしこれ以上踏み込んでくるような負を正にするぐらいの強い意識を持つんだ
Yeah?
中途半端な気持ちじゃ妄想に食われるだけだぞ
Aoi Sena. Yesterday, when the two of us had gone our separate ways, she gave me that piece of advice. She definitely knew something. She also had a discord. She seemed strong too. Would she be my savior? If not, I was doomed. No, well, we're about to find out, eh, Takumi? Here we go, back to the train. The following day, I made my way to the front of the station. In all honesty, I really didn't want to go back there. After all that traumatic Esprit BS, the front of Shibuya Station brought back nothing but bad memories. Adding to my stress, just like usual, there were way too many people. The area around Hachiko was absolutely infested with normies loitering around. Everyone kept glancing at me and sneering as they pointed their phones at me. But when I turned around to look away, my eyes wandered up towards the towering O-front, the very building where I committed social suicide only a few days ago. Videos covering every angle of that night continued to make the rounds on the internet, and they would likely continue to spread across the world for all eternity. Erasing them was pretty much impossible at this point. I was going to spend the rest of my life as the internet's favorite punchline. Don't worry, they'll move on to somebody else in like a week. I was so frustrated, angry, and sad. It would make me want to get as far away from it as I possibly could, but knowing Shogun would kill me the second I tried to escape, I was forced to painstakingly stand my ground. I cautiously stepped foot into the train carriage known as the Green Frog, trying my hardest to avoid looking at my surroundings. Unsurprisingly, there she sat, Aoi Sena, the train's sole passenger. It took me a minute, but I realized that the reason why no one else was in the car was likely due to Sena's own handiwork. She'd use her gigomaniac powers, or whatever they were.
お前かエラーを見つけたのか
Well, shaking my head widely, I handed her the crunchy kun I bought in advance from the local convenience store. It was my way of getting my foot in the door. Here, I know it's not much, but I hope you like it. Oh, no, please don't worry about it. Thank you very much. And that's how it would go, all according to the stupid-ass Japanese custom. But even though I knew it was idiotic, not even I would stoop as low as to ask for protection without giving something in return. As payment for her services, I would give her free kanchi-kuns a day. It was an offer even Sena couldn't refuse.
くれるのかありがとう
She accepted it with surprisingly little resistance. Everything was going according to plan.
西条は何味が好きだ私は断然ソーダ味だな
Son of a bitch. Wait, they're soda-flavored popsicles? What, we got Pepsi-flavored? Well, so, I mean, yeah, we have Slurpees that are fucking Coca-Cola flavored. What am I talking about? Yeah, that makes sense. Sena excitedly tore open the wrapping and took out the popsicle. It might have just been my imagination, but it almost looked like her mouth had curved into a slight smile. Man, just how obsessed with those things are you? You're practically asking for a stomachache.
僕はコーラ味。
なんだとコーラ味なんて邪道だ。ふざける。
Damn.
すいません。
I made her mad. I thought about telling her off or getting upset over something so trivial, but I figured I'd better keep my mouth shut.
それで
Taking a bite of her crunchy coon, Sena shifted her probing gaze to me.
私に何か用か。
Oh, why did she have to be so intimidating? The look in her eyes could turn me to stone. All I wanted was to ask for help, but it felt like the sheer anxiety alone was going to kill me. I was already bad enough at talking to three new girls as it is. I took a few deep breaths and just barely managed to calm myself down.
僕を助けてほしい。
どういう意味だ。
僕はニュージェネの真犯人に、狙われてる。この前話したでしょ。将軍っていうやつなんだ。
Alright, this is Sena's cutest spray. I love just the ice cream in her mouth. That's so cute. Anyway, god damn it.
僕はきっとそいつに思考盗撮されてる。
思考盗撮か。そいつ何者だ。
知るもんか。僕が聞きたいぐらいだ。
It's myself.
この渋谷で思考盗撮できる連中なんて限られてる。ギガロマニアックスか、あるいは望みの連中か。
望み
Here we go.
望みテクノロジー。プロジェクトノアによって世界を手に入れようとしてる。
But what was she on about? Sound like some kind of conspiracy theory. But could Shogun be a member of that organization?
僕を助けてよ。頼むよ。
I felt myself rapidly sinking further into despair. I wanted something, anything to cling on to, something that would save me. Sena took another bite of her crunchy coon, then furrowed her brow.
言ったはずだ。中途半端な気持ちで踏み込むなら妄想に食われると。お前には覚悟があるか。
ないよ。あるわけないだろ。僕がただ助けてくれって言ってるんだ。こんなのもううんざりなんだ。なんで僕ばっかり。
Sapped of all my willpower, I fell to my knees. Don't do this to me, just protect me. What do you want me to do? I don't want to do anything anymore.
覚悟はなしか。
I felt her cold glare pierce through me. Could clearly tell just how pathetic I was being. So all I could do at that point was hang my head in shame. I've been through this like 20 times, Sena. Please give me a break.
だが、その将軍というやつは気になるな。もし望みの人間なら、ニュージェネ事件も連中が起こしてるということか。だとしたら、それを捨ておくわけには。
With a frown, Sena muttered that to herself as she looked out the window. She seemed to be deep in thought, but she kept chewing on her crunchy coon regardless. Not longer after I said something, Sena suddenly got up from her seat. She was now standing in front of me.
私に守ってほしいのか?
Yes. Damn it, she was always looking down on me. Did this bitch have a dominatrix fetish or something? Despite insulting her inside my head, I gave her a meek nod.
それはつまり、私とお前はこれから行動を共にするという意味だ。それでもいいんだな。
As long as you protect me, anything's fine. Protecting myself from Shogun's attacks is my highest priority right now.
本当に守ってくれるなら文句は言わない。
決まりだ。
Sena extended her hand toward me. I stared blankly at those delicate fingers of her, unsure of what they were trying to convey. Growing impatient, Sena grabbed my hand and pulled me up. Our eyes met, if only for an instant. Having our gazes intertwine at such a short distance made me frantically avert my eyes. She then let go of my hand.
じゃあ行くぞ。
And then, as if the spirit of me onward, turned her back to me.
行くってどこへ？
のぞみテクノロジーの本社だ。
Well, son of a bitch, alright.
これから乗り込む。
Oh, okay. Infiltrate? Like, into the enemy base? No. What was this stupid bitch thinking? Did she have a death wish? Well, this was game over. God, I was such an idiot for thinking I could rely on her. Like hell I was going anywhere near there. I wanted nothing to do with this. I wasn't the kind of person that just waltzed right on into my death. I was the type of person who tells someone, wow, that plan fucking sucks, and then ditch them. Ignoring my look of disbelief, Sena strolled briskly out the door. However, I, meanwhile, stayed right where I was, refusing to budge an inch. Suddenly I realized I could no longer move my arms. I glanced down at my body. Oh shit. Before I could even blink, a white chain had coiled around my body, and on top of that it was wrapped around me very tight. Very, very tight. Even when I tried to force it off, it refused to budge an inch. Who the? When the? What the? How did this even happen?
グズグズするな。
Oh shit. Sena poked her head out of the window, then urged me to come quickly. Felt the chain wrapped around my body being tugged. I tried to resist, but I no longer had full control of my body. Great, you quite literally got put on a fucking leash, Takumi. The chain led outside the train carriage and ended when it reached Sena's hand. She was holding it. She was the one pulling me. So this was what Queen and Slave exhibitionist humiliation roleplay was like. Seemed legit. Wait, no, it was nothing like that. What the fuck? God damn it, I was such an idiot for thinking I could rely on Sena. Clearly picked the wrong person for this. Someone, help me, I can't take this anymore. Buddy, so far this is kind of the best route beginning, at least. Nozomi's main branch was apparently within walking distance of Shibuya Station. My mental strength had already been completely drained before we even reached it. After all, Sena had been parading me around right smack in the middle of Shibuya. It went without saying that practically every cell phone in existence had been pointed at me, and with that my dark past had grown even darker. I was definitely afraid about it on the ad channel by now. Esper Nishijou indulging a puppy play with black-haired Butte in Shibuya. The DQNs were never going to let me hear the end of this. No matter how much I pleaded with Sena, she refused to remove the chains.
今のお前にとって必要なのは目立つことだ。今のところ、その目的は達成されてるだろ。
Really? Thanks. She was constantly spouting all sorts of nonsensical reasoning like that. Seriously, what kind of bullshit logic was that? And Anazai Sensei, I want to be a man who stands out from the crowd. Had I asked her anything like that? No, I fucking hadn't. Also, what is that? Must be a Japanese, like, the coach from a famous basketball manga, huh? On the internet, users parody certain quote from the manga in order to express a desperate desire, e.g. and Anazai Sensei. Another oft-quote line, this one spoke by Anazai Sensei, is, if you give it up, it's game over. I'm gonna guess, basketball, probably Slam Dunk. Slam Dunk was really fucking popular. I read some, some stats. Slam Dunk was fucking insanely popular back in, like, the 90s in Japan. Strolling right into the enemy base. What the hell was she thinking? We could be killed in a moment! Completely ignoring my complaints, Sena casually entered the fancy building, dragging me right along with her. After all, the chain had given me no choice in the matter. Jesus, what a picture, huh? Oh, won't you look at this? The grandeur of the expensive lobby standing before me took my breath away. The Nozomi Group. It had apparently become one of Japan's leading conglomerates. A place like this was so far removed from the life of a student like me, it felt like a completely different world. I never set foot in a building quite like it before. The size of the lobby, the practical enshrinement of the hot grills at the reception desk. I had to take a moment to breathe. Wait, we were in a company workplace. Shouldn't it have been off limits to unauthorized personnel? Both Sena and I were wearing samurai uniforms, so we were obviously, very obviously high school students. Not only that, but I was wrapped up in a chain too. We were practically screaming that we were intruders. For Sena to disregard this and enter the building like she owned the place, I began to doubt her sanity. The moment we entered through the automatic doors, I made eye contact with one of the receptionists.
帰ろうよ。
I was hesitant to go any further than we already had, but Sena didn't stop moving.
心配するな。
Oh god. We moved past the reception desk and headed towards the elevator in the back, and nobody had said a word to us? What the hell? She covering herself? Whoa. Sena didn't get on the elevator, though. Instead, she chose to go for the fire escape near the hall. Beyond the door was a dimly lit emergency staircase, and that was where she finally stopped.
周囲は私たちを望みの社員だと思い込んでる。
Ah, I see. Suddenly, before I could even blink, the pressure on my body disappeared. When I looked down, I saw that the chain around me had vanished without a trace, and the next thing I saw was this sword in Sena's hand. Was that chain just a delusion Sena real booted using their guru maniac powers? Yeah. So, Sena had sent anti-particles into my dead spots, this time making the real booted chain instantly disappear?
望みの社員と思ってるってどういう？
そう思い込ませた。肉眼で私たちを見た人間全員にな。
Well, yeah. She made them? She could do that? Sena then looked up at the top of the staircase. Something resembling a surveillance camera was installed there. It had a red light affixed to it, and it let out an eerie sound as it surveyed the room.
監視カメラにも思い込ませることってできる？
No.
やろうと思えばできるかもな。試したことはない。
Oh.
それにやる必要もない。
なんでバレちゃうじゃないか。ありえない。スニーキングミッションでは監視カメラを最初に壊すでしょ。常識的に考えて。
Well, everyone who played a video game before, at least. I mean, yeah. Metal Gear.
言っただろ。お前が目立つことが必要なんだ。
And that's exactly what I don't get. Aren't you contradicting yourself? You made them assume we're Nozomi employees in order to camouflage us, but then you turn around and say you need to stand out. Which is it? What exactly are you trying to do? All everyone ever does is speak in riddles. Do you all think I'm an idiot or something? What do you all think to yourselves? Even if I try to explain it, he won't get it. You do, don't you? Fuck you. Damn it. I'm smart. People, my IQ is absolutely higher than Sena's, no doubt about it. As I bit my lip in frustration, Sena took off on her own up the stairs, leaving me behind to continue seething. Did this girl have any actual interest in protecting me? No, she didn't. After all, she already put me in harm's way by dragging me into this building. But regardless of her intentions, I just wish she stopped rushing ahead on her own. She could at least tell me where she was going and what she was trying to do. Just give me some sort of explanation, please? Why were we using the staircase instead of the elevator anyway? I sucked at that exercising.
エレベーターに乗るのは自殺行為だ。
Sena's voice rang out from above me. Had she read my mind again? With a sigh, I started heading up the stairs toward her voice. Sena was waiting 2 stories above me. As soon as I caught up, she started climbing again.
敵の本拠地でエレベーターに乗ったら閉じ込められて身動きが取れなくなるのがオチだろ。
I mean, yeah.
それはそうだけど。
それより西条、将軍について教えろ。そいつはいつからお前を攻撃するようになった？
1ヶ月ぐらい前から。
話したことがあるんだな。
When I nodded in response, Sena stopped dead in her tracks and looked down at me from a few stairs above. I can see her panties from this angle, Sena-san. I averted my eyes out of reflex.
どんなことを言っていた？
A lot of things. Took a moment to tell Sena about everything Shogun had set up to that point, as well as the fake kidnapping he'd staged to try and scare me.
畑野という名前に聞き覚えは？
Oh.
ないけど。
将軍が言っていたかもしれないだろう。よく思い出せ。
Hot to know. I never heard that name before.
誰？
プロジェクトノアに関わっていた男だ。
I didn't know him. I didn't even know what Project Noah was.
そうか。知らないなら別にいい。
Sena turned her way in a huff and resumed her climb in silence. We're only at the 5th floor, Takumi. Oh god! We got off at least 20 stories with next to no breaks. I probably never climbed so many stairs in my entire life. I was exhausted. I didn't want to climb anymore. Sweat trickled down my forehead, stinging in my eyes. I wiped it off over and over again with my hands, but it continued to bleed no matter what I did. My legs felt heavy. I couldn't breathe. I felt like I was going to suffocate. I planted my hands on my knees in an attempt to catch my breath. Drops of sweat fell from my face and dotted the floor.
あとどれぐらい登るの？
社長室は最上階にあるらしい。31階だ。
Okay. 10 more floors to go. Hold on. Why was I even going along with this in the first place? All I'd done was ask Sena to protect me, so why was this happening to me? But... Oh, I know whose name that is. Ponowef's face appeared in the back of my mind. Oh, that's so fucking funny. Why was this happening to me? Ponowef's face appeared in the back of my mind. That really was Ponowef's whole fucking character in Part 3. I mean, hell, you could make the argument Ponowef was the main character in Part 3. Not a shit he went through. Fucking Avdol's death and shit like that. Anyway. My heavy breathing reverberated throughout the quiet staircase. Surprisingly, Sena didn't try to go on ahead after I caught up this time. Instead, she leaned against the wall and stared at me with a blank expression on her face. It seemed like she was fine with letting us take a short break. Mounted above Sena was another one of the security cameras. They were installed on every floor. There was no way they hadn't found out that we'd been climbing the staircase by now. Security guards could arrive at any moment.
監視カメラに細工をしなかったのは
Suddenly, Sena began to murmur something.
将軍がもし望みの人間でこのビル内にいるならおびき寄せることができるかもしれないと思ったからだ。
Oh, well, that's not going to work.
つまり僕はおとりってわけ？
そういうことになる。もともと望みになんか興味はなかったんだけどな。このビルに乗り込むことにしたのだってイレギュラーだ。
Wow, okay.
もちろんいつかはプロジェクトノアを潰そうとは思っていたが、それは今じゃない。それよりも優先しなくちゃいけないことがあった。
She became awfully talkative all of a sudden. Was she finally going to explain why we were here? But Sena didn't reveal what that something else was.
お前の話を聞く限り、その将軍は何かを知ってる。あるいは、畑野のことも。
Well, sorry to say. For a split second, her face stiffened upon saying that name. Were they really that terrible of a person? Yeah.
安心しろ、西条。これは交換条件だ。お前におとりになってもらう代わりに、私はお前を守る。それにお前だって、将軍の正体を知りたいだろ。脅威を排除するにはこちらから攻撃。
Sena abruptly stopped. She then frowned, stepped away from the wall, and readied her gigantic disc sword right in the middle of this narrow, cramped stairway.
どうしたの？
Oh, shit. Sena didn't answer. She peered down the stairwell, and then up, only to freeze in place.
この声、どこから？
Voice. A voice?
お前、何者だ
She suddenly shouted. I thought she might have been shouting at the security camera, but her gaze was directed further upward toward the ceiling. It couldn't be. I had a bad feeling about this. Unable to resist the bait, I looked up at the ceiling. Naturally, there's nothing there. After all, I couldn't hear the voice, but I had a good idea of what it was. Shogun. He was reading our minds using some satellite way up in the sky, and he was making Sena hear some kind of voice. Yeah, I don't think so.
セナ、その声を聞いちゃダメだ。セナ。
I promptly grabbed hold of her shoulders and shook her.
将軍は望みの人間じゃないらしい。
Huh. I was right. She had heard Shogun's voice.
騙されてる。あいつは敵だよ。信じちゃダメだ。
音だ。
My hands were still gripping her shoulders. She responded by grabbing my wrist tightly. Her nails dug in deep, shooting pain throughout my entire body. My face twisted in.
西条、音がしている。気をつけろ。
Oh shit. Oh fuck. Oh. A flash of light burst into my head, and from that light an image came forth. A dark room, a puddle of blood staining the floor, a modern art piece resembling that of a crucifix. Someone was bound there, with their head lifelessly hanging down, their clothes stained in blood, their right hand cruelly severed. Oh, shit. I'd seen it. I'd seen it clearly. That was without a doubt Nanami.
ナナミがこのビルのどこかに。
No, not in this building. She had been kidnapped by Shogun. Her wrist. That wasn't a delusion. It was real. I had to find her. I wasn't able to save her before, and now Sena was suffering too. So I had to find her. This time for sure, I had to do something.
落ち着け西条。これは罠の可能性が。
さっき君だって将軍の言葉を信じたじゃないか。
I violently shook Sena's hands off of me. The presidential office was on the 31st floor.
違う。音を聞け。将軍の干渉とは別の妄想だ。
I ignored her and sprinted up the stairs. Oh shit. This was no time to complain about my exhaustion. I was desperate. Nanami was suffering, and it was my fault. It was all my fault. I failed her back then. I'd run away. She must resent me. Forgive me. I'm a pathetic excuse for an older brother. Damn it. I wanted power. I wanted a disc sword like Sena's. Why? Why couldn't I get my hands on one? It was all I asked for. Nanami, don't die. I'm begging you. Son of a bitch.
ナナミ。
Well, look, we're finally here, guys. I made it to the giant 31st floor, and there's only one entrance to it. Wasting no time, I flung it open and dove straight through. Just like that, I was in the very same room that I saw in the vision. Several monitors hung from the ceiling, each displaying the word Nozomi on a white background. I looked all over for Nanami. The room was so dark I couldn't make anything out clearly, but
ナナミ。
there were no signs of life. No movement, no breathing, nothing at all.
西条。
Chasing after me, Sena flew through the open door. She forcefully grabbed my hand.
今すぐ出るぞ。これは罠だ。
だってナナミが。
聞こえないのかこの音が。
The sirens. Suddenly the door that we left open swam shut all on its own. The room grew even darker. Oh shit.
しまった。
Sena ran to the door and wrestled with the knob, but it refused to budge. Then, the outline of the disc sword in her hand suddenly faded to nothing. It was almost as if it had completely dissolved.
閉じ込められた。
だったら力を使えばいいじゃないか。
うまく妄想できない。
Oh? Sena's face twisted. She rubbed her temples and weakly shook her face. I was getting a headache. Oh fuck. I only noticed it when I regained my focus. It wasn't severe by any means, but The minor faint pain seemed to reverberate from the very center of my head, an ache that throbbed, then throbbed and throbbed. I feel kind of white-headed. Nanami, where are you? Is this one of Shogun's traps? Is Shogun my ally? What kind of company is Nozomi Technology? Sena has such small tits. Who's Hanato anyway? Weird. I'm losing my train of thought.
バイオ周波数攻撃を受けているぞ。
Yeah. Oh shit. The display on two of the monitors overhead suddenly changed. In place of the Nozomi logo, the faces of two middle-aged men appeared, one on each monitor.
まったく最近の若者は恐れ知らずだな。もちろん悪い意味でだが。
It's like the fucking Gazelle and Xenogears. Old men on screens.
おそらく井ノ原先生が推進したゆとり教育の産物だろうね。
私はただ300人委員会のプランを実行したまでだがな。世界人間牧場計画の一環としては悪くないプログラムだったよ。
Single link the worldwide human domestication project. Jeez. What was going on? Who are these people?
それを潰したのも井ノ原先生だというのがなんとも滑稽なところだよ。300人委員会の予想外だっただろうね。
私と倉持先生の野心も知らず、のうのうと世界を牛耳っているつもりなのだろうが、そんな連中に対するある種の宣戦布告だったんだよ、あれは。
世界を掌握するのに300人も必要ない。我ら2人で十分なのだからね。
Yeah, these guys are just breaking off from the committee, being like, well, if I can fucking take over the world, and we don't need you. What were those two talking about? Then, right, I was thinking that the two men on the monitors turned their stares to me.
それにしても、ノロセが言っていた通りだったね。まさかここまでバカ正直に網にかかる者がいたと。
Oh shit.
1週間も放置しておけば、衰弱してろくに抵抗もできなくなろう。それから拷問しようとしゃれ込もうではないか。
Oh god.
畑のセナはすでにコードサンプル取得済みと資料にはある。
Oh. Hatsuno Sena? Who's that?
洗脳を施した方が良さそうだ。我らの兵士としよう。
兵士兼慰み者だな。ギガロマニアックスの少女を奴隷とするなど、実に気分が良さそうではないか。
Man, these guys are so comically evil. Thankfully, nothing like this actually happens in real life. We live in a fucked up world, don't we? God, why must our fictions be so fucking realistic nowadays? Even fucking fictions from like 20 years ago by this point.
井ノ原先生もお好きだね。
では、ギガロマニアックスの諸君、監禁生活をせいぜい楽しみたまえ。
Well, shit.
1週間が経つ頃にはプロジェクトノアにより世界は大きく変わっていることだろう。その変革の瞬間を見ることができない君たちに同情するよ。
The old men disappeared from monitors, and the room was covered in darkness once again. It had been a trap. It had all been a trap. To fake two grown men, one of which I was sure was a member of the House of Representatives, would join forces just to trap some random otaku freak like me. This could be real. That'd be a fucking joke. Nanami wasn't here. She had to be in prison somewhere else. I felt absolutely pathetic for falling right into their hands. If I'd never known this would happen, I would have just risen to Sena.
衆議院議員と天聖振興会の教祖が300人委員会の一員だったとはな。
Yeah. Sena slammed her shoulder against the entrance again and again, but refused to give in. Probably been locked from the outside, and seeing as it was extremely sturdy, trying to bust it open was likely impossible.
300人委員会
If I remember correctly, wasn't that the name of that organization which occasionally popped up in conspiracy theories? Did it actually exist?
よく考えてみればそれも納得だ。もともと沈黙の兵器の理論を作ったのは300人委員会なんだからな。
Well, shit.
さっきのおっさんたちが言ってたプロジェクトノアって何
Having given up, Sena stepped away from the door in defeat. She surveyed the dimly lit room of sullen expression.
のぞみテクノロジーが進めている沈黙の兵器開発計画だ。
沈黙の兵器
一言で言うなら広範囲に作用するマインドコントロール装置だな。思考統率、視覚統合、五感制御。肉体的には損傷を与えることはない。音もないし、色もないし、匂いもしない。目にも見えない。
Yep.
だが確実に多くの人の精神をゆっくりと静かに汚染していく。誰にも気づかれないまま攻撃は完了しているんだ。
まるでギガロマニアックスの力みたいじゃないか。
当然だ。沈黙の兵器はギガロマニアックスを人工的に生み出そうという考えから始まったんだからな。
Ah. It was also insane that it didn't even feel real. But in the end, that was just the way things were. I was no hero, even if I was told that an insane conspiracy such as that was true and it was currently unfolding in Shibuya, wouldn't feel the slightest urge to stand against it. Even if I were to go out and fight it, I wouldn't be able to help anyone. I'd just leave it to someone who was actually useful. Maybe the new gen incidents, as well as the endless string of bizarre events that have been plaguing me, were all related to this Project Noah. If that was the case, I would need to leave Shibuya as soon as possible in order to protect myself. All I wanted was for Nanami to be safe, me to be safe, and for us to live in peace. That was all I wished for. For that to happen, I needed to find a way out of here. I couldn't stand the thought of being stuck in a place like this for upwards of a week, especially with there being no sign of any food or water anywhere. Oh, so that's what those old guys have been talking about. If we didn't eat or drink for an entire week, we'd never really start to break down. Worst case scenario, we could even die. Yeah.
セナ、なんとかここから脱出する方法を考えてよ。
扉は開かない。
Sena looked utterly exhausted.
ディソードは
なぜか出せなくなった。
Damn.
力を封じられたか。沈黙の兵器で攻撃されているぞ。西条。
So we're fucked? A silent weapon attack? The hell? Are you saying there's no way out? Sena, with a look of pure exhaustion, slumped down to the floor.
大丈夫？
体がだるい。
Shit.
それになんだか妙な気持ちだ。胸の奥が締め付けられるよ。
Oh, fuck. Her breathing shallow, Sena undid a few buttons of her uniform. Even in the dark, you could see that her skin was drenched in sweat. Despite our situation, I found myself getting flustered. Come to think of it, it did feel pretty hot in here.
なあ、水を持ってないか。
Of course I didn't. I was getting thirsty too, and fast. The thought of spending a full week in this heat without a drop of water made me feel utterly hopeless. Sena was staring fixedly at me. I knew there was no way I'd be able to maintain eye contact with a 3D girl, so I desperately looked away, but I could still feel her gaze piercing through me. Don't look.
水はないよ。
When I answered it, I took a quick glance at Sena. Our eyes met. Hold on. What was up with those shimmering eyes of hers? She almost looked like a love-struck maiden or some shit. Well, I was both a virgin and had never had a girlfriend before, so I didn't know if that actually happened in reality. Panicking, I turned my back to Sena and gulped down my building saliva.
おかしい。気をつけろ、西条。感情を操作されているかもしれない。
え、それってどういう。
お前を見ていると切ない気持ちになってくるんだ。くそ、ふざけた攻撃を。
I guess I was right. This is definitely the romantic route, huh? So the attack involved making Sena feel like she'd fallen in love with me? Or could it be that she'd already had feelings for me to begin with? Yeah, no way in hell. Use your brain, Takumi.
感情を操作って一体どんな仕組みで。
人の感情なんて結局脳を流れる電気信号でしかないんだ。
Yes, of course.
その電気信号に干渉する技術は世界中で研究されてる。案外とっくに実用化されてるかもしれない。ましてや沈黙の兵器ノア2なら造作もないことだ。分かっただろう。世界は電気仕掛けだ。私が言った意味が。
Does that mean it's like a program? Lines of ones and zeros? Be incredibly easy to tamper with something like that, like the Matrix. It is a scientifically proven fact that electronic signals run through our brains, so in reality, not only our emotions, but both the mind and the soul are reducible to mere electronic signals. Wait a second, that's no different from 2D, is it? For example, let's look at a heroine from Loge, Whistlot from ESO, the anime version of Serotan, and Sena. What's the difference between the four of them? If what Sena says about everything in the world being an electronic device is true, then there are no differences. They're all the same, mere electronic signals running through a device. I felt like I finally, albeit vaguely, understood why Sena had used the word error if all of that was true. Then there's no 2 weapon would be like some super deadly virus or someone using cheats in order to BK. Not even Neidhart could win against those kinds of people. Not only that, but compared to Neidhart, I was a ridiculously shitty playable character. So in the end, being trapped here and starving to death like a pathetic loser, well, that was a pretty fitting game over for me.
僕が悪いんじゃない。死亡フラグ立てまくってる。僕の中の人が悪いんだ。
Hey, I'm not fucking controlling anything, man. Well, I do make choices, and yes, do I send you down these routes, Takumi, but fucking, that's all I do. Cradling my head, I curled into a ball. Oh boy. This is, around 28 hours had passed since we first got locked in here. During that time, I dozed off and lost consciousness countless times. Oh, this is gonna... There's no way. Would this game really do an entire week within a locked room just to see what happened? Oh boy. I had been overwhelmed by a surge of uncontrollable emotions, with depression, mania, and other similar feelings leaving me mentally exhausted. Sena and I hadn't said a single word to each other the entire time. She'd pretty much been completely not entirely useless ever since we'd gotten locked up, really. The final ray of hope was the PC. Aside from the ones that showed the detestable faces of the dive member and that religion's founder, there were a ton of other monitors decorating the room. And every one of them was connected to a single PC. Since the PC was connected to the internet, I tried posting a bunch of SOS messages on various boards. But it had all been in vain. I hadn't been able to post anything at all. The PC could download just fine, but uploading was completely throttled. Any attempts at sending chat messages or emails were quickly snuffed out. Great. Under the orders of those 2 old guys, someone, somewhere, had to have been watching us. But why were they letting us access any information at all? I would soon learn the answer to that question. Oh god. A few hours after starting to gather info online, I checked the article's tabs of Taboo 101. Wyatt breaks out at Shibuya Scramble Crossing. An article that with that title caught my eye. Oh, this is a fucked up situation. Hearing about what the hell is going on in Shibuya while you're powerless to do anything. Immediately after that, it happened. Oh shit. It all began with a tremor from below. The floor, no, the very building itself started to shake violently. The very next moment, I was struck with a violent ringing in my ears. It was such an intensely shrill, resonant sound, my head felt like it was about to burst open. I looked at Sena, who was covering her ears in agony. And then, a thunderous roar. The entire building thrashed around violently, as if the world itself was trying to make a gigantic milkshake. Unable to stay upright anymore, I tumbled over and my back crashed against the wall. Sena was crouched down in the center of the room, curled into a ball. And above her head, the monitor fixed to the ceiling was swaying back and forth like a pendulum. Oh shit. The world suddenly went into slow motion. The swaying of the monitor slowed down. With a dull sound, the aluminum pole holding the monitor snapped, and it fell down ever so slowly towards Sena. It was a feeling I had experienced once before. It was exactly like when Elise had jumped off the school roof. She was going to die. If that gigantic monitor fell on her head, Sena would die. I couldn't make it in time. There were roughly 5 meters between us. Besides, I didn't have the courage to risk my life to save a 3D girl anyway. Even so, delusion flared to life inside my mind. In that delusion, I kicked off the shaking floor, bolted over to Sena, and threw my arms around her in a magnificent save. Oh shit. And all that happened in an instant. In just the blink of an eye, my body teleported over to Sena and threw its arms around her and tumbled to the floor. The sound of the monitor crashing to the ground echoed right beside my ear. Even though the room had been so dark before, my field of vision was dyed white. Oh, fuck. Along with the ear-spreading sound of an explosion, I was slammed with an even greater impact than before, and with that, my last thread of consciousness was severed. Fuck. How long had I been out? My consciousness drifted in and out of a deep slumber. I felt a ticklish, slightly annoying tingle on the tip of my nose, and upon noticing that faint, ever so slightly warm sensation, I slowly opened my eyes. Oh, boy, Sena's face was only a few inches from mine. Her long hair draped over my cheeks. Her faint breaths blew right against my nose. Her eyes were closed, but her eyelashes were quivering. She must have only lost consciousness. We really close. If I wanted to, I could have easily moved in and kissed her. I frantically tried to skirt away, but my body wouldn't move. That was when I finally realized what exactly had happened. We're under rubble. Keeping my head completely still, I tried to survey my surroundings, but it was pitch black. I couldn't make out anything. It felt like a thin film had been draped over my field of vision, but there was no film. It was just a cloud of dust which had been buried in rubble. So it wasn't that I couldn't see anything around me, it was that there weren't any gaps in the rubble at all. No matter what direction I looked, I couldn't find a single opening. We had been lodged into an extremely cramped pocket of space beneath the rubble. Whenever I tried to force my hands or legs to move, I would hear the sound of pebbles crumbling to the ground. That sound made me realize I couldn't move or do anything at all. Cold sweat beaded on my forehead. Had there been an earthquake or something? Shibuya experienced a lot of those recently, but maybe they had all been foreshocks. If so, this could have been the biggest earthquake to hit Tokyo since the Great Kanto earthquake. Did that mean the Nozomi building had collapsed? The terrorist attack that had happened in America several years back came to mind, bringing an intense wave of hopelessness with a... 9/11, yeah. The fact that we hadn't been injured yet despite being stuck in a crevice was probably nothing more than insane stroke of luck. Yet being the key word. The rubble was just barely holding itself together, maintaining an extremely delicate balance. I had no way of making sure, but it was definitely possible that dozens of tons of debris were piled on top of us. If I made a single wrong move, that balance would be lost, and then that massive pile of rubble would crush us in less than a second. Imagining that as my last moment, I instantly froze in fear. I didn't want to die. I couldn't handle the idea of being crushed to death in a place like this where nobody would ever know. Hurry up and rescue me. Rescue squad, the self-defense force. I don't care who, just get me out of here. I tried straining my ears to see if I could hear any people around, but there was nothing but silence. A deafening, eerie silence. All I could hear was the sound of Sena's breathing. Damn it. Sleep like a goddamn baby, why don't you? Sena was lying sprawled on top of me, our bodies tightly pressed against each other, perfectly complementing one another. Her chest, her stomach, her legs, nearly her entire body was right on top of me. She was heavy. She was heavy, and being forced to feel the softness of her arms and how slender her legs were, oh God. Naturally, I could still feel Sena's breath heating my cheek, and within it I could smell something sweet, perhaps because of the crunchy coon she was always eating. Her breaths were deep and steady. They followed a distinct rhythm, and each time she breathed, I could tell her breasts faintly moving up and down directly against my body. Phew. Was this some kind of torture? An attack of this magnitude would cause all sense of reason within me to crumble in 5 minutes tops. I needed to wake her up somehow in order to avert this crisis. Wait, I'd have to wake her up? Would it be right for me to do that? I mean, if I woke her up and she saw the state we were in, how would she react? She was the same girl who regularly scolded at everyone and everything, so even though it was an accident far beyond my control, there's no doubt in my mind that she will label me a pervert anyway. Certainly she wouldn't be thinking clearly. There's the very real possibility that she might whip out my throat. And at this distance, taking Sena's position into account, not only could she easily do that, but I would be completely defenseless against it too. Well, that was probably a bit too extreme to be realistic, but Sena really were to wake up in a panic, she could very well end up causing the rubble to collapse on top of us, and that'd be the end of it. What the hell was I supposed to do? If I could have whipped my hair out, I would have. Oh. But since I obviously couldn't do that, I resorted to banging the back of my head against the rubble. Oh, Jesus. Through that, I was able to suppress my sexual lust for Sena. Don't pay this wretch any heed. I'm not, and never will be, the 3D girls. The girls I love are all 2D. Saratan, appear before me. Drive these worldly desires from my mind. I'm not into stuck-up bitches like her, so I won't give in to my lust. I mustn't give in to my lust. I mustn't give in to my lust. I mustn't give in to my lust. I can't control it anymore. She is unconscious, isn't she? Surely no one will mind if I make ample use of her while she is. How about I taste those arrogant lips of hers, the same ones that do nothing but spew self-righteous bullshit. No, I shouldn't go straight for the lips. I'm not mentally prepared for that quite yet. In that case, how about I aim for a cheek? What does the skin of a 3D girl taste like, I wonder? Does it taste like sweat, or does it perhaps taste sweet? Oh shit. Startled, I cut off the delusions in my head. Sena's voice leaked out of her mouth, mixing in with her breath. It was quite as a whisper. Her voice was so soft and frail, I would have never imagined it would come from someone who was normally so fierce and unapproachable. Aw. Her eyes were still closed. It didn't seem like she'd woken up yet. She'd been talking in her sleep. I instinctively felt a pang of relief, realizing she hadn't read my impure, perverted thoughts. From behind her closed eyelids, a tiny drop fell, and with a barely audible plop, it landed on my cheek. It was so very warm, yet only after a fleeting moment it went cold. Even Sena cried sometimes, I suppose. Now even I was starting to feel sad. Had something happened between her and her father? Oh boy, you don't know the story. A little worried, I timidly called out to her. With a twitch, Sena's body started to stir. Her eyes gently opened. Hey. At point blank range, our eyes met. The drowsy Sena stared at me. Her eyes were still sleepy. She didn't seem to be fully awake yet. Don't look. It's embarrassing. It didn't take long for Sena's face to instantly turn beet red. Her eyes shot open and her gaze raced from side to side.
これはどうなってる？
動いちゃダメだ。瓦礫に押しつぶされちゃうから。
瓦礫だと？
Yeah. I explained to Sena how he had been buried alive by the earthquake.
そうか。確かあの時すごい揺れが来て、上から大きなモニターが落ちてきて、お前が私を助けてくれたんだったな。
Oh yeah, that did happen, didn't it? Though I don't have a single clue as to how.
礼を言う。私が守ってやる約束だったんだがな。まさか西条に助けられるとは。もっとダメなやつだと思っていたが、意外と男らしいじゃないか。
Hey, yeah.
どうも。
Please keep saying these nice things. I would have never thought I'd get complimented like that in a million years. It must have been the first time in my entire life I got a compliment from a fruity girl. Granted, Saratan told me I was totally amazing all the time, but still.
だが、この状況は良くないな。
Nope.
密着してるもんね。
バカ、そうじゃないだろう。ここで生き埋めになってることの方だ。
ごめん。
まあ、密着してるのも良くない状況だが。
Yeah.
セナのギガロマニアックスの力で何とかしてよ。できるでしょ。
難しいかもしれないが、やるだけやってみよう。西条、私の目を見ろ。
なんで？
お前と私の間で周囲共通認識を作るためだ。
Yeah. Did she just ask me to look into her eyes? Being squished together like this was already embarrassing enough, but doing that would completely smash my sense of the reason I had left. I'd go feral.
グズグズするな。聞こえなかったのか？私の目を見ろ。
Urged on by Sena's voice, I reluctantly obeyed. I gazed into her eyes. Then those eyes turned directly toward me. Okay, yeah, this was really embarrassing. I never made eye contact with a girl for such a long time before. I never even looked people in the eye while talking to them in the first place, so I wasn't even close comfortable with this. Making eye contact essentially meant that you were the only thing the other person was looking at. Right now, I was reflected in Sena's eyes, meaning I was the only thing she was looking at. I was monopolizing Sena's field of vision, and we were so close. Upon realizing that, I couldn't help but think that this embarrassing act was just as erotic as any H scene ever was. I cured my rogue brain. Shit! I needed to stop these idiotic delusions. We were making eye contact. What if Sena were to see it through me? You wouldn't normally be able to read someone's thoughts just by looking into their eyes, but Kazupi could. And Sena was a maniac as well. I couldn't do this. Making eye contact with a girl is impossible.
西条、目をそらすな。
The ultimate challenge for Takumi. Look into a girl's eyes while being pressed up against her. You know what? I feel you, man. Despite her saying that, Sena's gaze wasn't pointed in the right direction either.
僕には無理。
そうか。実は私も無理だ。こんな近い距離じゃ照れる。
Seeing as Sena's stained beet red breathed some life back into me, actually. Where did all this moe come from? Was this girl not actually 3D? Girl this cute can be 3D. Sena, you're so cute, Sena.
熱いな。
Sena's forehead, face, and even the nape of her neck were drenched in sweat. With how close we were, I could even smell it. God. There was no wind or anything either. The rubble burying us had no openings. Was there even a way for air to pass through at all? Not then, we were going to run out of oxygen pretty soon. Upon thinking that, I realized that Sena's breathing had become really heavy. The woodwork movements of her small chest on top of me had gotten much faster than before.
まさか息苦しい。
うるさい。暑いだけだ。
Damn it, what was I supposed to take from that? Whatever, just use your Kigomaniac powers already. Shouldn't you be able to make all this debris disappear like magic?
西条、お前の力でなんとかならないか。この状況じゃ、私はうまく集中できない。
You think I can? The hell are you on about? Don't tell me you're going to start relying on me now. How exactly do you expect me to do anything about this? Materializing a flower bed beneath a waist and saving you earlier were both just coincidences. It's not like I did any of it on purpose, let alone consciously. Don't rely on me, I'm supposed to rely on you, Sena. Also, please stop breathing all of this warm air on me. It's actual torture. A drop of Sena's sweat fell into my mouth. It was salty. Alright, why is this scene very hot? What the fuck? I was on the verge of tears. My sense of reason was this close to flying out the goddamn window. It was in my mouth. I was holding it in my mouth. Sena's juices.
Oi, Nishijou.
Sena's face was still red, but she seemed to be a lot more angry than she was before. Oh boy. All I did was taste your sweat. You can't kill me for that. Besides, it's your fault for wanting to drop it in my mouth. Fucking, what do you want me to do? In the middle of speaking, Sena buried her face in my chest, unable to bear the embarrassment. There's no way she had done it intentionally, but for me, that was the strongest blow out of anything so far. God, so cute. Her breathing, it was passing through the gaps of my clothes and directly onto my skin. Oh, fuck. Quickly realizing what she'd done, Sena pulled her head back. Aw, could have just lasted just a little while longer.
やめろよ。お前、何を考えてるんだ。
She was obviously shaken. Maybe she was just used to being the tough person in the room, so someone else taking control really left her flustered.
今すぐ。妄想を封印しろ、西条。お前のその股間のあれが硬くなって私の太ももに当たってるんだ、バカが。
Oh boy. What? Ah, yeah. I did feel something there. Set a soft, pillowy thighs.
妄想するなと言ってるだろ。
Oh, suddenly I found my face on the receiving end of a brutal headbutt. And since it was a surprise attack and a mighty strong one at that, the single strike knocked me out like a light. Damn. Fucking holy shit. That was a hell of a... That was a hell of a sound. Holy shit. Oh, crunchy as hell, man. Alright. What the hell is this?
君の才能を私は買っていたんだ。
利用していたの間違いだろう。私はもうあなたの言葉を信じない。教祖としての倉持雄大の虚像でしかないと思った。
信仰の救いを君も欲していた。
かつての私は欲した。だが今は違う。
では何を欲しているのか。
償いのため死だ。
Sena's dad.
一度信仰に触れた者は離れることなどできない。君は離れたつもりでも、信仰はいかなるものをも見捨てない。
神に頼る。神に匹敵するものを作ってしまった私には、神にすがることは許されない。
Wow.
西条、起きろ、西条。
I could hear an extremely pompous conversation between two unfamiliar men. Sena's hushed shouts jutted in between two voices, causing me to open my eyes. Unsurprisingly, we were still squished together, closed in the rubble with no way to escape.
君は君自身の意志でこの未来を選ぶと。すべては君の責任。だが一人で背負うのは重すぎる。信仰の救いがもたらされれば、その重みも多少は減る。
そう、私が選んだ。信仰の導きに従った。いや、あなたの言葉に従った。
Oh, isn't it Gelichi?
誰かいる。話し声が聞こえる。
I nodded in response. I could hear the voices of two men. It seemed like some cosmic church at the Divine Right around us. At the very least, it definitely wasn't a rescue party.
あいつだ。あいつが近くにいる。
Oh. I could vividly hear the sound of Sena gritting her teeth.
言葉を語るもやめるんだ、倉持。あなたのビジルには私の心には響かない。
残念だ。もっとも君がいなくても、すでにノア2は完成している。あとは世界に向けて、我らの意志を発信するのみだ。
Huh.
我らのではなく、あなたの井の花構造の
You know how, yeah.
いかにサードメルトの実験成功によりプロジェクトノアは試験段階を終了した。
A third man joined the conversation. What the hell were they talking about? And where was it coming from? Yeah. The fact that we could hear their voices meant that they had to be at least somewhat close to us. I mean, there wasn't as much rubble on top of us as we might have thought. Sena shifted slightly. Her hand gripped my uniform tightly, so tightly it was like she was enduring intense pain. Her gaze pointed downward, but she didn't make eye contact with me.
これからの世界に300人による統治から2人による統治に変わる。今日がもう夜明けだよ。
To two. My field of vision was suddenly overwhelmed with light. The small piece of rubble surrounding us began to crumble. Oh shit. Sena raised her head in shock. A hand reached toward us from above, peeking through a gap in the rubble.
無事か、セナ。
Oh shit.
前。
That hand began to pull Sena up through the debris. As it did, the crevice beneath the rubble widened, and once her weight was lifted off me, I could finally move again. I crawled out of the gap that had been made by Sena's body. It was the room in the Zombie building, the very same room we had been trapped in.
君もノロセ同様に我らが使ってやろうと言っているのに、それを拒否するとは。統治側ではなく、家畜として生きるのが望みかね。
Oh shit. Almost all the monitors that had been hanging from the ceiling had crashed to the floor, leaving all of their screens broken. Naturally, nothing was displayed on them anymore. Even the walls and various other chunks of the room were beginning to collapse. But all in all, the room wasn't anywhere near as bad as I expected it to be. I assumed we had been buried alive, but there wasn't even that much rubble. In hindsight, I could have probably escaped if I tried to. I felt like such an idiot for being too scared to move. It is...
Sena.
Sena was facing a man I'd never seen before. He was wearing a rugged coat that complemented his clouded eyes. Overall, he looked like your typical homeless man. I had a feeling I'd met him somewhere before, but I couldn't remember where. Maybe we had passed each other in Shibuya at some point. Aside from the two of them, there was no one else there. The voices of the people who had trapped us, the member of the House of Representatives and the Cosmic Church's founder, must have come from a speaker somewhere in the room.
おや、畑野や。どうやら親子で感動の対面を果たしたようだね。
Daughter? That man was Sena's father? I definitely heard Sena say the name Hatano before.
せいぜい再会の喜びでも語っているがいい。そしてそこから眺めているのだな。世界が変革していく様を。
ノア2をフル稼働させれば、渋谷だけでなく、世界中のすべての人間に作用を及ぼすことが可能だ。そのネットワークはすでに構築され。
Suddenly the voice from the speaker was cut short. And then a series of strange noises came through them, which meant their power hadn't been cut off. Something was wrong. Oh shit.
今のって。
銃声。
Ho ho. After the gunshots came the raspy sounds of a man breathing raggedly.
バカな。こんなはずでは。私はこれから当事者に。
Yeah. A final, deathly scream. Then, with a dull click, the audio was cut short once more and the speaker fell silent. An oppressive silence covered the room. What had just happened?
殺されたんじゃ。
殺された？誰に？
知らないよ。
The two voices were being broadcast from somewhere else, and the audio was coming out of the speakers. So how close were they to the room we were in? At the very least, they had to be somewhere in the building. Taking that into consideration, the culprit who killed those two had to be close by.
逃げようよ。殺人鬼がここに来るかも。
だから、殺人鬼って誰だ？なんであの二人は殺された？いや、殺されたと判断した根拠は？
落ち着け、セナ。
お前には聞いてない。
悲鳴聞いたでしょ。殺されたとしか思えないよ。
Who'd kill them? Shogun? But wait, wasn't Shogun supposed to be a member of the Zomi? No. That was just an assumption on my part. There was no evidence proving he had anything to do with them.
逃げるのは少し面倒だ。このビルは崩れかかっている。あちこちに歪みが生じている。
Oh shit.
私がこの部屋に入ってきた直後に、入り口が瓦礫で塞がれてしまった。
It was just as Hatano said, but I had this nagging feeling. One that told me, considering the way the walls and everything around us had collapsed, there was way more debris than there should have been. I had a bad feeling about this. Well, it wasn't like I'd ever been to an abandoned building before, so I couldn't exactly judge the relationship between the way our room collapsed and the amount of rubble produced. The only thing I knew for sure was that we managed to escape being buried alive, but the fact that we were still locked in hadn't changed. Great. It finally occurred to me that the bizarre resonant sound from earlier had finally stopped. Maybe the earthquake had destroyed the device that had been the source. I think it was called a porter? If that was true, then Sena might be able to get us out of here. I breathed a sigh of relief, then waited to hear Sena's brilliant plan of escape. However, she didn't take out her disc sword. She simply continued to glare at Hatano-san.
あの二人と何を話していた？
No boy.
昔話だ。互いに分かり合うことのできない。
分かり合うことのできない？本当にそうか？今でもつながりがあるんじゃないのか？この半年、どこで何をしていた？今になってこの場所に都合よく現れたのはなぜだ？このビルのどこかで私たちをモニタしていたからじゃないのか？
私はこの半年、渋谷を徘徊していただけの死にたがりだ。 転生振興会にも望みテクノロジーにも戻るつもりはない。
Sena gave a white quick of the tongue and turned toward me.
あの二人が殺されたと思う根拠は？
Well,
それはだから。
because I kind of know they are.
彼らは敵が多い。
Hatsuno stepped in.
誰に殺されても納得できる。
お前には聞いてないと言っているだろ。
でもほら、悲鳴とか銃声が聞こえて。
本当にそうか？単なる演技の可能性は？そもそもスピーカーから聞こえていたあの二人の声はリアルタイムのものか？
Well, I mean, what was she talking about?
地震対策がしっかりしている日本で、のぞみグループという日本を代表する巨大企業の本社ビルがこれほどの地震被害を受けている。それだけとんでもない地震が起きたということだ。
Yeah.
そんな状況でなぜあの二人はこの部屋のスピーカーでベラベラと裏事情を話してくれたんだ？
I don't know. Sena painstakingly enunciated her in each and every word, as if to make sure I knew exactly what I was claiming. Classified information? What, like Noah 2 in the third belt? Not that I knew anything about them either way.
これ見よがしに感じる。奴らは裏事情を私たちに意図的に聞かせる必要があったのかもしれない。
I don't know, because they're fucking evil.
あの二人は実在しているのか？地震が起きる前にすでに死んでいた可能性は？西条、私もお前もこのビルに乗り込んでからあの二人とは一度も会っていない。そうだな。
でもモニターで喋ってた。
モニタの中でだろ？実際に会ったわけじゃない。あんなものいくらでも細工できる。スピーカーについても言うまでもない。
Well...
何か変だ。不可解だ。それに私は。
What is that? Hatsuno staring at me with wide eyes interrupted Sena.
西条、匠君。君がそうなのか。
Oh shit, that's right.
そうか。君が。
動くな。
Sena, in response to being ignored, called out to Hatsuno-san in the sharp voice.
もう一度聞く。お前はなぜここにいる？
お前たちを助けに来た。いや、殺されに来たというのが本心かもしれない。
心配しなくてもすぐに殺してやる。でもその前に質問に答えろ。私たちがここにいることをどうして知っていた？
Yeah.
強い心の呼びかけを感じた。
He is a... Yeah.
ギガロマニアックスでもないお前がどうしてそれを感じることができるんだ？いや、ギガロマニアックスでさえ心の呼びかけなんていう曖昧な妄想を感知できるのはごく一部だけだ。
Someone like Kazupi, for example. Come to think of it, I wonder how she's doing. But she got up in there quick. Hope she's safe.
本当に感じたのか？最初から知っていたんじゃないのか？私たちがこの部屋におびき寄せられたことを。
冷静になれせな。憎しみに心を支配されているぞ。
冷静になれだと？ずっと殺したいと思っていた人間を目の前にして冷静でいられるはずがないだろう。
考えすぎてはいけない。物事は陰謀論ほど複雑ではなく、もっとシンプルだ。
この場にお前が現れるのは都合が良すぎるんだ。最初から仕組まれたことじゃないのか？この部屋におびき出されて監禁された私たち、地震直後に現れたお前という存在、スピーカーからのこれ見よがしの陰謀論風な演説とその不可解な中断。そもそもこの部屋が望みのビルである確証もない。私たちが気絶している間に 別の場所に運び込まれていたとしたら
God damn, Sena.
のぞみのビルに内装だけ模してある部屋、地震など起きていなくて散乱している瓦礫も人為的に配置したもの。
The more words Sena threw out, the more unsure I became on what to believe. It felt like the very foundation of knowledge I'd always relied on was collapsing, like it was being pulled apart piece by piece.
疑心暗鬼は己を滅ぼす。気をしっかり持て、セナ。
お前に名前を呼ばれたくはない。会話をするつもりもない。質問に答えろ。
Yeah, I think Sena's demon is that she overcomplicates things. AKA, she's very logical. She wants, like, emotions don't exist. They're just electrical signals in our brains. And that's why she both hates and still loves her dad. She wants to hate him so much. She really, really does, but at the same time, she still loves him. Inexplicably. It's not logical. It's not morally correct. It's not anything. It's pure emotion. You know, that's purely what it is. Even though he did all that horrible things to her mother, she still has some love for him since he is her last family member alive. And that's why she's gone down the cold, calculated path for herself in order to close off her emotions, in order to perceive reality as it truly is, at least to herself, you know.
地震は起きた。確実にだ。渋谷のあらゆる建物は崩壊しかかっている。死傷者は4桁以上だろう。
それを証明する方法を持っているのか。
その壁を崩してみるといい。お前の理想度で。
Sena threw out her right hand as if she were shaking something off. Her disc sword materialized in an instant. Sena swung it down toward the wall without hesitation. The disc sword smoothly cleaved through the wall like a hot knife through butter. The wall broke down. Immediately after, a fierce, chilly wind blew through the room. The scenery from before the destroyed wall was laid bare before us. And what we saw there was destruction, complete desolation. Shibuya transformed into literal ruins of death. Just a few hours ago, I'd been crowded with people. Flashy videos were playing on at an insane volume from various jumbotrons, and it was overflowing with glittering decorations, things all befitting of the city of youth. But now, almost all the iconic buildings had collapsed, and those that had survived were either leaning a sharp incline or had found cracks gradually moving their way at them. Not a single car remained on the road. The asphalt had caved in at multiple points and had risen up into many others. Pitch black smoke billowed from numerous locations and disappeared into the blackened sky. That was the Shibuya we saw from atop the skyscraper. Sena had only been jumping at shadows, and I was no better. There was no mistaking it. We were still on the 31st floor of the Nozomi building, and an earthquake had occurred. There was no telling when the building we were in would collapse. If the building were to fall, I had no chance of surviving. It would end with me being crushed under endless tons of rubble. I could be buried for all eternity, with my body never being found. I needed to get out as fast as humanly possible. Trembling violently, I surveyed the room. Huh? My eyes instinctively honed in on an object, a monitor that had fallen on the floor.
単なる地震でここまで被害が大きくなるはずがない。ノア2か。
そうだ。サードメルト。ノア2の最終稼働実験だ。
Half of the LCD screen was broken, so nothing was displayed on it. However, the remaining half was tendency staying lit. I didn't think it had been on when I looked earlier, but I wasn't completely sure.
サードメルト。 お前も関わっているのか？
言っただろう。私はもう半年以上前に望みから逃げ出した人間だよ。
望みだけじゃない。お前は私や母さんや妹からも逃げたんだ。
ああ、認める。
Only half listening, Sena and half to know sounds strained arguing. I crouched down in front of the monitor. There were letters on it. Text was being displayed. What the fuck? What the? A chat room? Takumi, are you seeing this? They said my name. Why? Why have they said my name? What do they mean, are you seeing this? The whole thing creeped me out. Who'd written it? Their handle seemed to be corrupted. How did they know my name? How did they know I was in this building, let alone this very room? It has to be Shogun. Maybe it was Grim? Never asked him before, but what if it was actually some crazy super hacker all along? Or maybe it was Shogun like usual. Was he reading my mind again, prepping me to give me my next quest? The sight of Nanami covered in blood resurfaced in my mind. Right, Nanami was being imprisoned somewhere. If this was in any way related to Nanami, she could be killed if I didn't respond to this message. I crouched down to the keyboard that had fallen down near the monitor, and let out a single groan. I had no idea whether or not the keyboard was actually connected to the monitor. All I could do was pray it would work. And so, I pressed the N key. Doesn't really help. My input was reflected on the monitor. Same way I could use the keyboard to type and shout after all, under the temporary handle guessed. I replied with N, i.e. no, since their message hadn't clarified what it was I supposed to be seeing. What was I supposed to be seeing? The text? Since I didn't know that yet, I couldn't answer why, i.e. yes, until I knew more. Nanami's life could be at stake, so I had to be even more careful than usual. Another message arrived. You respond to her clearly, so I believe it's safe to assume you're seeing this. I'm grateful we were able to establish contact with you.
Huh?
We are the Committee of 300? What? Wait, so it wasn't Shogun? It was the Committee of 300? I heard the name over and over today. Those old guys that had supposedly been killed earlier, Kuramochi and Inohara, they had both said they were part of the Committee of 300.
Nishijou, どうした?
Sena peeked over my shoulder at the monitor.
なんだそれは?
わからない。僕に名指しで呼びかけてきて。
Ooh, now I can do a cool fucking voice here. Oh, Sena, you too are being monitored by us. All three of you are. Nishijou Takayumi, Ao Sena, and Hatano Ise. Alarmed, both my gaze and Sena snapped to the ceiling. Were they watching us with security cameras? There were several things in the room that looked like cameras, but all of them had been destroyed by the earthquake and therefore weren't working. The other monitors are completely silent too.
そいつ何者だ?
Oh shit. We are the Committee of 300.
300人委員会だと証明することはできるのか?
We are the Committee of 300, as our introduction already provided.
西条、そう打ち込め。
Before I could even start typing, another message appeared. Oh boy. Oh my god. Okay. Alright, you didn't typed. Okay.
何なんだ?
You needn't type. You were being monitored in real time. However, not by traditional means. There are no surveillance cameras present in that room. The devices of your world are necessary, at least to us. To put it simply, understand that we possess the viewpoint of God, seeing all from a higher order way of being. There's no possible way for you to verify the system, nor even the concept. In a similar manner, we regrettably have no means by which to validate us as the Committee of 300 either. You simply will have to go by our word. Why the fuck is this like Committee of 300 like Ouroboros and Trails?
ノア2の攻撃？それともギガロマニアックスからの妄想攻撃か？西条、こいつが将軍の可能性は？
There's no way I could figure that out without whittling given. Shake my head from side to side. Tiara probably looked like I was about to cry. Sena responded with an irritated click of her tongue.
さっき胃の花と倉持を殺した殺人鬼じゃん。
いや、むしろ可能性が一番高いのはこいつが胃の花か倉持のどちらかということだろう。300人委員会を名乗ってるぐらいだしな。
Well, they did betray them, though, so... Sena proceeded to point the tip of her disc sword at Hatano-san. She one-handed the gigantic, viciously sharp sword with incredible ease.
あるいは、お前の差し金による罠かもしれない。
私がこのような細工をする意味はない。
Squatting down to look at the monitor was tiring out my legs, and reading the text in the dark was equally taxing. To combat this, I shoved some debris off of the table and placed the monitor on top of it.
倉持と井の花以外の300人委員会メンバーかもしれない。何しろ300人いるのだから。
I mean, yeah.
いずれにせよ、こいつが本物ならという前提がつく。自分から名乗る黒幕はドラマや映画の中だけだ。
本物か偽物かという判断は今はそれほど優先されるべきことではない。重要なのはこの自称300人委員会メンバーが井の花と倉持を殺した殺人鬼なのかそうでないかな。
Oh.
こいつが犯人？
Really? Indeed, we disposed of Inohara and Kuamochi. So those two really were killed. They sought to betray us, you see. Of course, we have long been aware of this breach of faith. They were not disposed of. They were not disposed of because they were considered a threat, for the odds of their plan bearing fruit were null. It is simply necessary to eliminate programs that contain errors. This was merely some debugging, essentially.
倉持たちがモニターしていた部屋からコンタクトしてきているかもしれない。
Yeah, well, shit.
でもだったらなんでスピーカーを使わないの？
声を聞かれたくないからだろう。正体を知られたくないんだ。
僕らの知ってる誰かなの？
書き込んでいる男はかなり慎重だということだよ。いや、男かどうかも不明だが。
Yeah.
この書き込みをしているのが井の花か倉持で単なる自作自演だとしたら。
井の花と倉持の2人での仲違いだというのか？
そうかもしれないし、実は2人とも生きていて私たちを騙しているだけかもしれない。
騙す意図について推測できているのか？
Yeah. We would prefer it if you didn't understand. Neither Kuramochi nor Inohara were members of the Oh.
だったら何者だって言うんだ。神だとでも言うつもりか。
Neither Kuramochi nor Inohara were members of the Committee of 300. They were merely under the impression that they were, and it was us who implanted this idea within them. They proved convenient pawns in our guise. The same can be said for all those involved in the Committee of 300 conspiracy theory. Us true members have yet to take the stage. Even if we were to consider doing so, that much is not possible, for we do not exist in your world. What the fuck does that mean?
このチャット相手との議論はしない方がいいかもしれない。相手の意図が不明だ。言葉しか見えないのではいくらでもフェイクの情報を織り交ぜることができる。
We do not exist in your world. Have yet to take the stage. What? The advice was solid, but the text on the monitor kept appealing rapidly. I couldn't get a read on the guys behind the handle. They knew a terrifying amount of information about us. Calling us God would be appropriate. We are the 300, each of us with our... We are the 300, each of us with our own assigned districts. We are those who administer your world. Our administration aims to erase errors and establish order. Oh, really? Right as I finished reading everything they had written up until that point, an idea suddenly popped into my head. It was something I had thought about many times before.
あなたはゲームマスターっていうこと？
ゲームマスター？どういう意味だ？
So interesting. If this really is the Committee of 300, they're there to get rid of errors. Make sure the world is just what it is supposed to be. Now I'm thinking back to Steins Gate. In Steins Gate, they were trying to crush Okubei's discovery of time travel. Because if they utilized time travel, that would fuck everything up. Here, they discovered the formula to create Noah 2, a device that could alter people's perceptions of reality. The Committee of 300 have already taken over the world. I guess that's what's happening in these games, are them course correcting. Son of a bitch. Oh, that's really interesting.
演出で言えば開発者側ってこと。もっとわかりやすく言うなら中の人だよ。
ちっともわからないぞ。
Rubbing her temples, a sour look crossed her face. Kids these days. Nishijou Takayumi's explanation is accurate.
マジで？おお、来たこれ。
It's accurate. We are the Gamemasters who administer the progression of this MMORPG. You are all players, or perhaps NPCs. The theory I had delusions about it had been true all along. There was a person outside my reality controlling me, just like how I controlled Neidhart. Someone was controlling me in the same way.
だったら僕の中の人に言ってよ。キャラメイキングを今すぐやり直せって。もっと僕を操作する腕を上げろって。
I shouted that at the monitor. Felt Sena's puzzled gaze went on my back. The reason we have established contact with you is because we have a request. If you agree to cooperate, we have prepared a cheat code as compensation. What?
すごいぞ。チートは裏技みたいなものだよ。演数で言えばそのコードを入力するだけでレベル1だったキャラを一瞬でレベル50にできたり、あとはドロップ率 0.025% の超レアアイテムを何の苦労もせずにいきなり手に入れたりできるんだ。もしチートコードがあるなら僕はもう弱っちいキモータじゃなくなるんだ。本当の勇者になれるかも。三次元女子とも気取らずに喋られるようになる。
This was the exact epic plot moment I've been hoping for, becoming the strongest and most popular character without any actual effort. I'd be totally OP. Holy shit, this is actually happening. Committee of 300 actual fucking quads. But like, actually, so fucking awesome sauce. Holy shit. Oh!
それがチートコードだとして本当にあると思うのか。このチャット相手は高次存在らしいが、そんな神のような存在が 私たちと同じ言葉や用語を使っているのはなぜだ。これは罠だ。
Unfortunately, your conjecture proves
詭弁だ。
incorrect. I assure you, our usage of familiar terms to you is fully intentional. The words we frequently make use of do not exist in your world. Whoa. Your belief or lack thereof lies with
僕は
you.
信じる。
I choose not to believe us, and we will resort to entertaining other methods. I wanted to believe them. I didn't want to continue living in fear any longer. If I was able to get a power even stronger than Shogun's, I'd be able to live in peace. We are grateful for your cooperation, Nishijou Takayumi.
神ならばなぜ自らの力を行使しない。
Alright. We are grateful for your cooperation, Nishijou Takayumi. We'd like to illuminate an error for us, what you three know as Noah 2. It has the capacity to severely disrupt the balance of the game, and in the worst case scenario, it may cause crashes or even wipe the game data entirely. I'm trying to think. Are they actually like higher beings? Or are they like, they're still human, but like they keep saying like your world, like the difference between like rich people and like poor people, or maybe rich people from like ultra rich people or something like that? Like, oh, what the hell? What the hell?
頭が痛くなってくる。
At the present time, Noah 2 has effectively forced your world into autistic mode. In other words, it accepts only minimal interference from us. The Gamemasters cannot directly intervene in the game. In the end, we are nothing more than your administrators. In order to eliminate errors, we require your cooperation. Huh. Yes, I know what autism is. Autistic mode? Typical. In various Japanese sci-fi media, the term autistic mode was adapted in order to describe a situation in which all communication is shut off, rendering the entity completely isolated from the rest of the world. Featured in the sci-fi manga that popularized this term, cybernetically enhanced brains are one such entity. I have never heard of this before. Autistic mode? Huh. Anyway.
口から出まかせにしか思えない。直接介入できないというなら、どうやって胃の鼻と倉持を排除した？
We have other cooperators. You may think
協
of
力
them.
じゃなくて、私たちを利用したいだけだろ。
You may think of them all as debuggers. However, none of them hold the power necessary to destroy Noah 2. For this, we require the cooperation of Giggle Maniacs. It was an error. It was a possibility that never should have happened. Takumi getting the dream of the formula. Then Hatano seeing that essay paper in Tokyo Station. It was never supposed to happen. It was never supposed to happen. Noah 2 is an invention that never should have existed. What the fuck? Call it whatever you wish. We will not deny it.
それは確かに。
However, we are confident our interests align here.
巧妙だな。一連の書き込みを見ていると、300人委員会は実在しているとも、実在していないとも取れる。
Yeah.
これがノア2による攻撃である可能性もある。
でも胃の鼻と倉持がノア2を使って300人委員会を裏切ろうとしてたのは本当のことだったじゃないか。あいつら自身がそう説明してたよ。
あの時点から妄想による攻撃が始まっていたとしたらさっきも言っただろ。モニターやスピーカーで喋っていた胃の鼻と倉持が本物である証拠は一つもない。
さっきからセナは疑ってばかりじゃないか。
この状況で信じられるのは自分だけだ。世界は全て電気仕掛けで、電気信号に細工するだけで簡単に見ているものを捏造できる。ここから見える崩壊した渋谷の光景も、この瓦礫だらけの部屋も、300人委員会を名乗る存在からの書き込みも、今この場でこうして話している西条や。
Sena shy glance at Hatsuno-san.
この男ですらも偽物かもしれないんだ。
セナ。
If your mind is but an electronic device, and your feelings electrical signals, then the hatred you feel toward your father must also be programmed in. This applies to human death as well. Therefore, you have no need to feel any more of the sadness you feel over the cruel deaths of your mother and younger sister. Do you deny this? Damn! Sena gritted her teeth. Her expression grew angrier and angrier.
これは妄想だ。私の心への攻撃だ。惑わされないぞ。
God damn. Well, then. Here... Well then, here is our proposition. If you succeed in destroying Noah 2, we shall revive your mother and younger sister. What?
セナ、言葉に流されるな。この書き込みが精神攻撃かもしれないと言ったのはお前自身だ。
でも
チートコードなら可能かも。にしろ相手は神だし。
All things. God damn.
本当なのか。
All things that make up this world are electronic devices. You said so yourself, Sena. If you were to examine electronic devices at a more conceptual level, you would find that they are composed merely of digital data. Concepts such as life and death are just more fabrications. Bringing a person back from death exactly as they were, with all of their memories intact, would present no trouble at all. For us Gamemasters, that is.
判断を誤るな。お前はそう信じたいだけだ。現実に蘇ることなどない。
There's no way.
うるさい。お前は黙ってろ。
Shit.
心の負い目につけ込まれているぞ。相手は巧妙だ。こいつは神などではない。今確信した。ただの詐欺師だ。神は自己完結した存在でなければならない。生死の概念そのものを持ち合わせていないし、理解できない。そういう存在だ。
黙れと言ってるだろ。お前の宗教観は聞いてない。
Sena's discord once again found itself pointed at Hatsuno-san.
元はといえばお前がいけないんだ。お前が母さんを殺しさえしなければ。
その償いはするつもりだ。私を殺しても構わない。むしろ私はそれを望む。だから母さんを蘇らせようなどという虚言を信じるな。
そうやって逃げようとするのが一番許せないんだ。
Oh, for fuck's sake. Now wasn't the time for some father-daughter screaming match. I should just leave these two behind, then I could go and take the cheat code for myself.
今決めた。お前は殺さない。ノア2を破壊して母さんが生き返ってもお前には合わせない。
Oh.
そして一生後悔し続けろ。
どこまでも純粋だな、セナ。感情に突き動かされながら電気仕掛けの世界を願うか。 お前は矛盾している。
Yeah.
すまない。私がお前をそうさせてしまった。
父親面をするな。今さらそんな顔しても私はお前を認めない。おい、私たちを見ているお前。
Sena looked towards the ceiling and shouted out.
チートコードの入手方法を教えろ。
Natsuno-san said nothing more. All he did was stand there with a sad look on his face, his shoulders sagged. It seems you finally come to your senses. The cheat code has already been sent to your world.
鍵は
However, that being said, our ability to interfere freely has been inhibited. We were not able to place it where you are now. We must ask you to retrieve it for us. It is located underground in Shibuya Station. You will find it in a coin walker near the ticket gate of the Fukutoshin line. It has been placed in walker 1009. Oh, Sena, you possess an IC card for public transportation, yes?
さすが神、用意がいい。
The coin walker is the type which uses an IC card to walk, authenticate, and give payment. The required data has already been sent to Aoi Sena's cards.
チートコードってどんな形をしてるの？
That is something not even we know. Whatever item present in your world that has taken the form of is unimportant. Regardless of its form, once you obtain the code, the moment you fulfill the condition, the cheat code will activate. To fulfill the condition, you need simply to destroy the item that has taken the form of. The target, Noah 2, is located directly above the coin walker. It can be found in the planetarium near the east entrance of Shibuya Station. Upon obtaining the cheat code, you must destroy the planetarium. And with that, everything will fall into place. We pray for your success. Wow. The monitor immediately went black. With only a dull click, the committee was gone, even though we hadn't touched a thing. I was overflowing with excitement. I met God, the person controlling me. The world turned out to be structured in a multi-layered fashion, and I was able to talk to someone on a higher layer. I could get a real-life cheat code. I could say farewell to my shitty life forever. I've become invincible. Nobody, and I mean nobody, would be able to scare me anymore. Shokin, Yua, Nozomi technology would no longer be my enemies. I'd won at life. I wanted to head for Shibuya Station immediately. I wanted to get my hands on that cheat code as soon as possible. But despite that, Sena continued to waste time. She kept her sword pointed directly at Hatsuno-san, her head hung low.
セナ、行かないの？
Sena, hearing my call, let out a small sigh, then lowered her sword. Without so much as a glance at Hatsuno-san, she walked straight past me, and then she casually swung her disc sword. And with that, the rubble blocking our path was cleanly dispersed.
行こう。
She spoke in a subdued voice, one that was far removed from the rage she had been showing only a moment prior. Holy shit! Wow! Wow. That was a hell of a... This may be the longest episode yet because I was so fucking engaged. Oh my god. That was so good. So this really does... So the question now is the committee of 300 really a godlike entity? Or is it simply just very, very rich and powerful people that know a lot and are able to convince others that they are, in fact, God? But damn, ooh, this has a lot of implications. Oh, this is really good. Holy shit. Shit, this route is really good, especially for, like, main plot stuff and just the overall kind of, I guess, for the setup shit for the rest of the series, really. Ooh, this is good. This is really good. Holy shit, I'm loving this so far. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit that subscribe button. If you liked it, hit the like button. Tell me something, but not comments for what. If you want to check out Discord server I'm on in, or my Twitter, check description below. And yeah, it's been Voidlego. I'll see you guys next time. See ya!